I never became consistent at sales by trying harder. I became consistent when I tricked my brain into believing this one thing. I used to think that just by showing up every day and putting in the hours that was going to lead to sales, but I was wrong. It's more than that. You can show up and do 10 hours of calls per day and you still might not have success if you're missing one thing: your belief in yourself and your belief in what you're selling. See, I had a problem. I would show up to work, use something as motivation temporarily, start making a bunch of calls, grind for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden I would start to lose momentum and not see any results by the end of the week. And what I realized that I was putting the hours that I needed to in to make the money, but the thing is I had no belief in myself or what I was selling. And it wasn't until I gained belief in myself that I started making actual sales. And the reason why is because if you don't believe you can make a bunch of money and sell things to people, then why should they believe that you're going to help them, or why should they buy from you? And I realized that now that I had the right habits built up, that I was consistent every single day. I showed up and I put in the work. I just needed to have a change in mindset, and I needed to start believing in myself more so that I could combine the work ethic that I had with my beliefs, which is what leads to making consistent sales. What I think it was is I think I was too focused on trying to become good at sales, becoming a good salesperson, that I stopped trying to figure out how to actually help people. And in sales, it's not about how good you are at being salesy. It's about finding why the person is looking for help and providing them with the solution. Like, if you can learn to do that at a high level, you'll have no problem consistently closing deals. I had a crazy mindset shift of going from waking up every morning thinking, oh, I have to make hundreds of calls just to close this one deal, or just to get yelled at by these people, cussed out every single day, to waking up actually wanting to make calls and enjoying the process. And as soon as I started enjoying the process and I started living in the moment, that's when the sales started to stack up for me. Because whether you know it or not, you tell yourself it's going to be a dreadful day, and then your mind's going to carry that same energy throughout that entire day. You wake up in a good mood, you get on and you realize that this is part of the process. You're going to have to do it every single day for the rest of your life, so you better get used to it. And when you say that, you start to look at it differently. You start to kind of make things into a game. And for some reason, the more laid back and relaxed that you are in sales, the more sales come your way. It's kind of weird. But when you're uptight and you're thinking, I have to close a deal this month, I have to close a deal this week, like I got to get a certain amount of sales, you end up failing each and every time because you're focused on the wrong thing. Instead, if you put your mindset towards, I'm focused on helping people and how I can help a little bit more and put a little bit more effort in each day, the sales will start to come to you. Another thing that I did was I stopped overthinking things and I just got to work. Like, when I'm overthinking, I'm thinking way too far ahead in the future, and I'm wondering what I'm going to do when I make a certain amount of money per month, what I'm going to do when a certain problem arises, when in reality, none of that stuff is happening at the moment. Like, why am I worried about it? You need to be focused on the task at hand, be where your feet are, one step at a time. And when those things come up down the road, that's when you can worry about them. You need to worry about the things you can control, like you being broke. You need to change, so you need to take these steps in terms of like a system, a process, and eventually you'll get there. You need to treat sales as an everyday process in your life, just as you would something as simple as like brushing your teeth every day. You do that every day without a thought when it comes up. You do that every day without a thought coming to your mind. But when it comes to sales, you think you can take days off, start calling when you want to, and expect the same results to come from that. But you have to treat sales like it's an everyday function of your life. You have to practice, you have to make calls, you have to do the things you're gonna do every single day with no questions asked. And that's just how things work in sales. If you wanna be good at anything, you have to make it a part of your life. And most people that fail, they try to exclude them. Putting the work in is something that is critical for your success. And I know sales isn't some exciting thing that people just wake up wanting to do every day. The way that I fixed that is I started actually calculating my wins and setting new goals. That's the only way you're going to be able to move forward. Like, if you have no goals, you're just thoughtlessly moving through life. You need to have your goals set so that you can chase after them. When you do hit these goals, you do need to celebrate those wins. Celebrate the wins responsibly and get back to the work and repeat the cycle, and that's how you stay ready. And on the flip side of that, you also need to recognize your inconsistency. The times you're not winning, you need to realize you're doing something wrong. wrong, and you need to write down what your pains are as well in life, so that every day you have a reminder of why you do this and why you get up and why you have these goals. The pain is the most motivating factor that you'll need. You need to remind yourself every single day that you're in a place that you don't want to be at, and there's a reason why you're doing what you do. You might even have to add some punishments into your regimen as well. Like, say for example, every time somebody tells you no, you got to get up and do push-ups, or you got to run or do something that will keep you active. Things like this also make the day pass easier, and they also help you put in more work because you're putting in more hours. You're basically gamifying things. So at the end of the day, the only difference between where I was and where I am now is that it was just a simple mindset shift and a belief in myself. Like, I could show up every single day, put in more work than everybody else, but if I never believed in myself, why should anybody else believe in me or buy from me? And when I realized that, it wasn't about just collecting people's money, it was about helping them out, and that's the main thing. And after that, I had a shift, and everything started to change, and I started to do things with a purpose, doing every single thing every single day with a purpose. And you can listen to all the motivation you want, like most people, but I stopped chasing motivation. I started being consistent. I told myself what I wanted, I went and I had a mindset shift and I went after it. The sooner you figure things out, like I did, the sooner you'll start doing the right things, and the sooner you'll start putting more money in your pockets, as well as changing people's lives in the process. And that's all I have for the video. I know it was a quick one this week, but it's meant to be quick. It's to the point and it serves its purpose. So if you found value in anything in this video, show some love by dropping a like. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments also. And if you have any topics that you want me to talk about in the future, you can also drop those in the comments. But other than that, I will be back with more content.